Hello, I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Frankie.
And this is Conbini Cult. Welcome to the newest episode of the podcast. How are you, Frankie?
Woo.
Really? Woo?
Something, I don't know. Okay. Something between and woo.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't know, because we're not recording.
Okay. I'm okay.
Okay, yeah. We're not recording like super early, as some of you may have thought that 10 a.m. wasn't early at all, but for us it is. No, it is 1 p.m. in the afternoon.
Well, I mean, we usually record
around this time.
1 p.m.
But like, I don't know about you, but I feel like more tired.
Yeah, it's
like
it's so hard to get out of bed.
I still feel tired, even though I had a morning-ish. I ate breakfast and everything, but I don't feel as like energized as I should, considering what time of the day it is. Is that kind of like where you're at too?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's like a winter thing or if it's just an everyday thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a night owl, so yeah, waking up is hard.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the audience or tell the listeners what time we were both up last night until? Like,
well, we were messaging around like close to 2, making the notes for the episode.
Yeah. So usually, recently, we'll each kind of like decide a topic and write notes for our own episode we want to talk about. But I always feel bad because I'm like, oh my God, like a school assignment, I just put it off till the last moment, and I'm like, okay, it's like 11. Yeah, which like reassures me now because it's like 11 or like maybe midnight the day before we're recording. I'm like, I gotta write my notes, and I'll be like in Google Docs like writing, and then I'll see like, okay, how far did Frankie get in her notes? And I'll like click on your doc, and it's like you're in there. Like,
yeah, I was making the notes, and then I saw that you popped up, and I sent. You can do like a chat on Google Docs, so I was like, hello.
I was just like lurking because I always like to see like how far or like how many pages we're talking, so I don't like feel like I'm doing too much or too little as always. But I saw your little message and I was like, hello. Just lurking here.
Hello, what are you doing here at 1 a.m.?
I know, yeah. So it's like 1 a.m. So I'm like, okay, well, we're on the same page literally about that, I guess. So.
Yeah, as long as it gets done before we hit record on the camera.
Yeah. So very much
That's
enjoy.
our style.
Yeah.
At least we have a similar style.
Yeah.
That might be more stressful if I did it like 2 weeks in advance and then I was like, hello, do you have your show notes yet?
Yeah. That's like kind of why I'm like super thankful that we do have similar like work ethic or like, working time, because I it's okay to like obviously get things done early in 2 weeks in advance. That's probably for the best, but I would feel so bad.
It might cause tension.
Yeah. I would feel so bad as like a co-host and like a partner. So I'm kind of glad we're both just in there like lurking in the wee hours of the night, but
it works for us. So
it does.
That's all that matters.
Yep. And it's our first time recording after the new year. First time seeing each other after New Year's too.
Yeah, I think we saw each other on the 29th.
Okay, so right before. And where did we go? Did we eat something delicious?
What did we? Oh, we got pizza.
Yeah, we ate
That's
pizza.
where we got the T-shirts that we're wearing.
Ooh, shout out Hugh's Pizza and shout out Brandy for making these shirts.
For designing the shirt.
Yeah. So that's one of our favorite places. Ooh, one of our favorite places to eat pizza in Osaka. So it's really, really yummy.
Yeah. Osaka also has Henry's Pizza.
Yeah.
So I have never been there before, but recently, who went there? Jenny?
Okay, so
first, Bruno Mars or something?
Bruno Mars and Rose went. After they released the apartment
Apatu
song.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what they were in Japan for, but they went there and they posted about it. And Henry's is like, it's really good, and it's got that like New York vibe to it. It's a lot of that like gaikoku feel in there when you go. And so it was like crowded here and there on the weekends sometimes. But after that post, so we tried to go.
Yeah, we tried to go to Henry's first, but the line was down the street.
It's crazy.
So we're like, I don't know if I want to wait that long for a slice of pizza.
No, and it's okay because we went to another amazing pizza place anyway. But I saw that, and then when did I message you? It must have been like a week or so afterwards. Jenny, from Blackpink, went there. So I don't know like what the K-pop celebrity obsession with Henry's Pizza is. Like, is it that good to where you're like in Osaka and go out of your way to eat pizza?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Because if you're visiting Osaka, wouldn't you want to eat like okonomiyaki or takoyaki or something?
I don't know. And again,
New York pizza,
especially like, I mean, if you're like a K-pop idle, and sure, if you spend most of your time in Korea, then like it makes sense. Like maybe you want to get like a different kind of like vibe or whatever. But like Bruno Mars going there, and it's kind of like, I don't know.
You're from the States. You can get good pizza.
You can get the pizza, and like it's not like the雰囲気, like the vibes in there are super like, oh my god, it's so American. Like it's just like any other diner in there.
Oh, really?
Almost. Like if you're like from the States, you know, like, it's like it's really nice when you're living in Japan and you go and you're kind of like, ooh, how nostalgic, you know. It's kind of like a nice like scenery change. But if you're just like coming to Japan to visit and you go there, it's like, damn. I don't remember it being, well, not to like do pizza slander, but like I didn't remember it being like so good to where celebrities needed to like go there and blow it up basically. So now like I'll never go there again probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just so close to my house. It was really convenient, but it's okay.
Yeah, because I've never been there, so I can't really judge. But I mean, being from the East Coast and like living in New York for several years,
you wanted to,
I feel like
really
I know pizza.
It.
So I wanted to see how legit it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe we can go and try again once we have, I don't know, the whole day to spend in a line like Disneyland.
Yeah, maybe a weekday would be fine if we go there when it opens. Maybe. I'm still curious to check it out, but I don't think I would wait 2 hours for pizza.
Would you wait 2 hours for like a New York pizza? Like your favorite spot, like back home or?
No.
No? Is that just like not a thing, right?
No, it's not a thing.
Yeah. I feel like I've gotten so used to just waiting in lines here for anything like food or like whatever. It's just, right? Oh man, maybe
I don't think I ever waited that long for anything in New York.
Right? I don't think so either. 2 hours. I can't even remember.
Maybe like an hour tops.
Maybe. I can't even remember waiting for 2 hours in a line at like Disneyland in the US, like in California.
Yeah.
Like it's the norm to be like, oh, the wait time here is like an hour or like 2 hours in like Tokyo or Universal Studios in Osaka. But I don't remember it being
I feel like I
crazy.
have waited maybe like 2 or 3 hours for like, well, I've never been to Disneyland, California, but like Six Flags in New Jersey or there's some park in like Virginia as well that I went to. I forgot what it's called.
Cedar Point. No. That's in Ohio, I think. Yeah.
Busch Gardens?
Oh, that sounds
something?
about right.
Sounds familiar. It could be that. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, we ate good pizza. We had a good New Year. Anything special you did over the New Year holiday?
Not really. I just wanted, because around Christmas time, like I still had some deadlines. So I felt like I couldn't really enjoy Christmas because I had that deadline looming over me.
Yeah.
So then after that passed, I think the last thing I did was on the 29th. That was the last like client work thing that I had to do. So after that, I was like, woo, I'm not doing anything for at least 2 or 3 days. So I did genuinely get to relax. Yeah. Oh, and you know what I started watching?
Ooh, tell me.
Dun.
You did? Okay, good. How was it? What are your thoughts? Yeah, you can be honest because I'm not like.
Well, I expected it to be kind of like cute.
Oh.
Because the way that you explained it, you're like, okay, well, this one character really believes in UFOs. And the girl believes in like ghosts. Yeah. And they're trying to like prove to each other that the other one is real. So I was like, oh, this might be cute. But then I watched it and I was like, this is perverted.
Oh,
like,
yeah. No, the first episode, it like really took me everything I had to like move past the first episode.
Okay. I think I watched 4.
Yeah. Okay, good. So yeah, that first episode, the way it starts, so they kind of, from what I've seen, each episode, they kind of go back and forth between like, this is a UFO episode and this is like a ghost episode.
Oh, okay.
Kind of is how it has been. So episode 1 starts off with like, aliens and abduction kind of vibe.
Aliens trying to probe
the girl character. And just the way it's done and like the angles and like the way they go about it, it's very like, ooh.
Because they're in high school, right?
Yeah, they're like high schoolers like, too. And there's like, she's not like nude or anything, but like almost there. And just the like nuance of it is very like, I'm uncomfortable. Like I just felt really like uncomfortable. I was like, I don't like this. Like I don't like watching this. I don't like the not the jokes, the dialogue of it being like, we're going to violate you basically and like steal this like personal organ from you and like things like that. And it is like a lot of like penetration nuance in there. And anyway, the first episode, if that kind of makes you uncomfortable, then it's really hard to get through. And then after that, it gets like more lighthearted. I do like the Turbo Baba like
Okay, yeah.
lore episodes, and then
but she's a little deranged and perverted as well.
Oh yeah, she's gnarly. She's like always trying to take something for herself too. Yeah, the golden balls. But yeah. So I hope. What day is it today? Sunday. I guess Sunday. A new episode just came out on Friday. Are you watching on Netflix?
Yeah, on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think I've watched 4 episodes.
Okay.
So far. I mean, it
maybe
did get better, but that first episode, I was like, what the hell is
the first episode is really, really rough to get through. And then I just hope it, like, has an interesting conclusion. It's starting to get more interesting now that, like, like all animes, you know, they kind of build up their crew and they, like, find all their nakama and stuff. So there's, like, more characters being introduced. So I hope it does get, like, a little interesting. But yeah, I'm very like on a wave with it. Like some episodes I'm like, okay, well that was nothing almost. And then some I'm like, oh, that was like pretty interesting. I like the darker ones for sure. About like the ghosts and all that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I mean, Nana is a completely different story, but like in the very beginning of Nana, this is not a spoiler or anything, but she's like a high school student dating like a 30-year-old salaryman or something. So I was like,
no idea about
ew.
That.
That was immediately like in the very first like chapter of the manga.
Oh, I didn't know.
What the heck is this? But it did get better. That's like, it just started off on like an uncomfortable note.
Yeah. Wait, is Nana the like more, how do you call it? Like the one with the short hair? Is that Nana? Or there's like 2 girls.
There's 2 girls in it, yeah. So
and
it's
one
like
is like more feminine, and one's
like a punk rocker.
Yeah, is Nana the feminine one or the punk rocker one, or is Nana just like the story?
They're both named Nana.
Oh God. Okay, well, never mind.
So that's the thing, because that's how they meet, like on the Shinkansen.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
but
maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah, we don't need to get into the whole. The lore, the Nana and Hachi.
Yeah, no, I really want to watch. Yeah, if there's like other like I don't know, non-straightness about it, then I'll be interested. You know, I want to see where those 2 girls like end up basically. But that's like a really common thing in anime, especially early anime, right? And manga is a young girl's always like has an older boyfriend. Like I never knew Usagi like from Sailor Moon. Like as a kid, you don't know, but rewatching, she's like a junior high schooler, so she's like in middle school and her boyfriend's in high school. Did you not know? Like Tuxedo Mask is like a high schooler. I had no idea. He's like a koukou.
Is it like a 1 or 2 year age gap or something, or is it like she just started middle school?
No,
and she's about to graduate?
She's like a middle schooler second year, so you're like 14, and then he's definitely like 16 or 17. So or like I can't. Okay, so. Don't like come at me. I can't remember if he like starts off as a high schooler or he like is a first year in college. I don't. He's like, in my opinion, it's an age gap. Like that's kind of like, oh, we don't need to have like a 14-year-old with a 17-year-old, maybe. But it was the 80s, I guess, 90s. I don't know. I still love that show. It's fine for like the girl power reasons. But other than that, yeah. Oh, Squid Game. Did you watch that?
Yes, I did finish Squid Game. So my partner, I don't know if I told you this already, but he wanted to watch it with the English dub.
It's so weird. No.
So I watched it again in Korean with English subtitles.
Yeah.
Because you don't really get like, I mean, I don't understand Korean fully. Like I know some words, but I feel like there's just more nuance with the original language that it's in, even if you are watching with subtitles.
Yeah, I mean, that's like with anything you watch, right? In the original language versus dub or whatever. But yeah, my partner and I, because he's Japanese and English is my first language, we can't like keep up, you know, literally our reading skills are too slow if we watch it in Korean with English subtitles or like the other way with Japanese subtitles. One of us will like definitely miss too much information that way.
Yes.
So we watch it Japanese dub with English subtitles, which like Japanese and Korean culturally and like linguistically share a lot of similarities. So like I feel like I didn't miss too much. Really yeah. And like you know, there's a scene they're talking about like seniority and like that you know, and like that also transfers over in like Japanese culture too. So I didn't feel like I missed too much. But yeah, like what was that scene like in English where they're like, when's your birthday? Like,
with the English dub, it's more like, oh, respect your elders, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't really capture the nuance of the hierarchy in the language that you use. Like polite language, like humble language, that kind of stuff. And then also Top's character, because he's like a rapper and he's randomly throwing in these like English words and phrases all the time. Of course, in the English dub, it's all in English, so like you don't really get that.
Like how funny it is, like how random it is.
Exactly.
Or, welcome to the Thanos world. So in the Japanese dub too, it's the same where he's speaking Japanese and then like random English. I was like, is this like on purpose? Like I was so confused. I like had to switch it back to the Korean and be like, what's he saying? Like what's going on? But it was so good.
Yep.
And I had no idea that was Top from Big Bang. Like I learned a lot of Big Bang lore after watching it. And so yeah. I also heard a rumor he didn't have any like lines. Like that was all improv he did.
Really? Oh, that's so cool.
So I hear, but like how reliable is TikTok and like the internet, you know? But
I don't know. Either way, he did a good job. His character was really entertaining.
Super entertaining. He's like morally not the best guy in that show, but like super entertaining. He really made that show, I don't know, fun this season. I really, really enjoyed this season. And I'm, no spoilers, very excited for what is to come, if anything is to come.
Yeah.
Ooh. We'll see. But
so anywho, speaking of television,
so that was a good way. It's a good segue into what I wanted to talk about today.
Okay,
which was just TV and like Japanese shows in general. I know I talk about this a lot, but that's kind of really all I do. So watch TV, especially over the New Year's when there's like nothing to do except watch TV. But the topic of this episode is kind of talking about different TV shows, but I've categorized them into, you know, lighthearted, like heartwarming, nothing is problematic about it, down to like are we reaching a Nasubi part 2 kind of situation? If you've listened or watched a previous episode about Japan's craziest reality TV show starring Nasubi, go ahead and watch that first if you haven't already. But so we're just going to go through the scale today. Okay, sounds
interesting.
Good. Yeah. So the first TV show I wanted to talk about, maybe you've heard of it. This is in the heartwarming, lighthearted category.
Okay.
It's called Hajimete no Otsukai, or First Errand in Japanese. The English title is very questionable. It's called Old Enough. Do you know this show?
Yes, I have heard the show before. And heard of the show before. I think I've seen it on TV, like little bits here and there. But yeah, the English translation of the title is it sounds so suspicious.
Yeah, especially out of context, right? I'm like, okay, so do you know that TV show? It's about kids and it's called Old Enough.
Like, call the authorities.
Yeah, exactly. Call the police.
Call CPA.
Yeah, for real. So this show.
CPS, not CPA.
What does CPA even mean?
What's CPA? CPS, Child Protective Services.
Oh, yes, for sure. Well, CPA also means something too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, so in this show, Old Enough, the show, let me just go ahead and read my notes. It's a reality TV show produced by Nihon terebi that follows one child and like a family per episode. The goal is to encourage the child involved, usually around 3 to 5 years old, to go out on their first errand all by themselves. So most parents audition or apply for this program because they want to, you know, instill more confidence and more independence in their child, especially if that kid is kind of on the shyer side. And so errands typically include, you know, going to the market or maybe dropping off some food at like their grandma or grandpa's house, picking up a present for, you know, one of the parents if it's their birthday, and so on and so forth. So you've seen this show, right? It's so cute. I love this show. It's like...
yeah, it is really cute.
Yeah, and you can watch it on Japanese Netflix. And I believe it was on Netflix or Hulu in the States for a little bit. It like had a run.
Think so.
Yeah, but this show has been going on for a long time too, since I forgot, the 80s maybe? Definitely the 90s. But yeah, you know, usually they're like super young kids, especially if they're 3 years old. It's kind of scary to go outside on their own, but usually after like some convincing, they do agree and like go outside and run on this errand and stuff. But the way it's organized too is, you know, there's like a secret camera in the home. You know, where they live, they set it up so you can kind of see like the buildup. Like maybe the parent they're cooking dinner and they're like, oh no, I forgot like this sauce for the curry we're cooking today. Can you please buy the sauce? And usually they ask the kid to go buy it. And as they're walking outside to go to the store, there's like, do you see how many staff there are just like running after them and following them? They're just like, so they're monitored, right? They're not just like alone walking the streets, but there's usually tons of like, not people in disguise, but like staff kind
Crew,
of like, hidden around the streets and stuff. And they're all carrying like, just looks like a box or like a case of something, but it's all cameras. And they're just like, there's always staff like walking in front of them and one behind them and maybe one across the street. So they're getting the kid at like all angles and stuff. And I love this show personally just because it's so wholesome and something that like is just so Japanese in my opinion. Like, you know.
Yeah, that would be interesting to say the least if they tried it in the US, for example.
Yeah. So my question was going to be like, could this show work in the US? And you said, well, it would be interesting to see, but what do you think?
Maybe. I don't think it's a definite no, but I don't know. It's a maybe.
I think it depends like where in the US this would be filmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, my thoughts were like, hell no, unless like, you know, it's a very like, well, no, because when you say inaka, like countryside in Japan, most people drive or they need a car or things are pretty spread out. But like there's still things like accessible to some degree, like for the elderly or for like children, right? There's maybe a bus that goes to the supermarket or it's kind of like in a walkable distance, like most things. But if you say like, I live in like the boondocks of the US,
it's like an hour to the supermarket
by car, you know? And so, it's like, that was like one point. I was like, I don't think the infrastructure in a lot of places in the US would allow for kids to do that. Even in urban areas too, like just traffic safety and stuff is like a lot more.
That's true.
Intense, but also I mean, I know there's a lot of staff that follow the children around, but I always think of like, I don't know, some kid is gonna get snatched up if this ever happened like on US soil, which sounds like super dark, but it's kind of true. Like, I don't know, if there's any weirdos out there seeing like a kid walking alone on the street and, like, they don't know there's, like, crew around them, right? Like, who's to say a car or a van isn't going to, like, roll up and, like, just snatch them away? But, Yeah.
That's... Actually, so...
Okay,
This reminds me of something...
like you want to say something,
It reminds me of something from my childhood.
Okay.
So
oh, God, I'm so sorry. Like,
no.
Okay.
Not with somebody getting snatched, but with, like, kids running errands.
Okay. Sorry.
Not kidnapping. Sorry.
Okay. I said white van and you were like...
Oh, yes, I remember.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first few years of my life, we lived in Philly. So, of course, in Philly, everything is, like, walkable. But I remember I had a neighbor. I must have been, like, maybe 3 or 4 at this time. And I was the kind of kid who, like, repeated everything.
Oh.
So... The kid who lived, I don't know, next door, like a couple doors down, he was maybe like 5 years old or something, 5 or 6. And his mom would always send him to the supermarket and stuff by himself.
Oh, wow.
Well,
okay.
And my mom would comment and be like, well, his mother is like so irresponsible. I think she said she's such a pig.
Oh.
And then so when me and my mom saw that lady like outside checking the mail or something, and I was like, my mom said you're a pig.
Frankie!
Yeah.
No. And that's it?
That's it.
But he was safe and everything, right? He like went to that's another thing, right? It's like, you know, when in this like, I guess, cultural context of your mom seeing, you know, another parent tell their kid to go run errands and like go to the store on their own.
Yeah. The thought was not like,
wow, how
kid
independent.
is responsible, independent. No, it was more like the parent is irresponsible for letting him go off by himself like that.
And I just thought of that now after hearing that. Yeah, that's so true. Is that, I wonder if that's just like a big cultural difference in like why it works in Japan, like why it's so wholesome to see that in Japan. So I was saying like, you know, the reason it works, like this TV show has worked for so long here is because, most of the episodes are filmed in the countryside. So there's more like community, you know, like I think if you see so-and-so's kid walking around, like you probably have a good sense like, oh, that's like, they're fine. Like they're doing the thing they always do, you know, like, oh.
Yeah. But eventually we moved to New Jersey. So I don't really know what happened to that family.
Yeah. I see. I wonder now, though, like, let's say, you know, you have neighbors that you're, like, on pretty good terms with. There's nothing, like, I don't know, anything concerning going on in the home. And then you just see, like, one of the younger kids, like, get sent off to the store or something, or, like, go walk down the block to go pick up something from the market. Is that something worth commenting on, like, from a typical U.S. standpoint? I don't know.
I don't
know anymore. I feel like sometimes I feel like I've lived here in Japan for so long that I'm like, I don't even know, like, what is normal anymore, like, what is considered, like, weird or what.
Yeah, but in the U.S., like, because every place is so different, in the U.S., it really depends
That's
on
true
the neighborhood
too.
and everything. So
That's very true too. Because, like, for example, Hawaii is so small. And so, like, if, you know, you've lived there long enough to where you remember, like, store clerks, or maybe they remember you and stuff in the neighborhood. And if you are to go by yourself for the first time one day, I'm sure the lady, like the auntie at the register, would be like, "Where's your mom? Like, what are you doing?" You know, like, I'm sure they would, like, say something, because that's just, like, how small of a place I'm from too. But yeah, like you said, the US is large. I guess it just depends. But
yeah, it really depends on the place. It could be wholesome, or it could be alarming.
Yeah, I wonder, like,
So I guess where we lived in Philly, it was alarming.
yeah, I guess so. I'm trying to think, like, which states or, like, which areas this TV show could work in the U.S. Like, if it were to be produced. And I mean, I guess
know.
like you have to think of, like, a walkable place, which is, like, where's that?
Yeah, not many
in the continental U.S. at least,
Yeah.
you know. Anyway, yeah. So that's one example I had in the heartwarming category.
Okay.
The second one, before we move on, is called Shinkon-san irashai, or Welcome Newlyweds in English. Have you heard of this show?
No, I've never heard of this one.
Okay, so
Is it like a reality show?
no, it's like a talk show kind of.
Okay.
So there's two hosts, like two talk show hosts. And then so the show is about newlyweds that are just interviewed by those two TV hosts, and they talk about, you know, how that couple met, maybe their dating story, and then how, and like maybe how the proposal was, or like when they got married and how married life is. It's very just like talk showy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I had no idea. This show has been running since 1971.
Whoa.
Yeah, and like still to this day.
Today. Wow.
Which like makes more sense when you think about that, like that newlywed talk show feels like, yeah, that sounds very like 70s almost, but
Yeah.
still going on
Yeah.
today. But I put it in like the lighthearted category, because there's nothing like, I don't know, crazy about it. It's just interviewing like new couples and stuff that are like, I mean, of course it's for TV, right? So I'm sure there's tons of people who apply, but they're choosing like, you know, the most interesting or the most fun, like outgoing couples that have like a fun backstory and stuff. And I've seen a couple of like, you know, maybe one of the partners is not Japanese. They're from like another country. And so, of course, they're like, Nihongo, jyozu desu ne, like talk about other, you know, language stuff and whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, but going back to the old enough.
Okay,
Hajimete
yeah,
no
sorry.
Otsukai.
Go ahead.
I have seen foreign families on
Oh,
there.
yeah. Are you talking about the guy from New Zealand or Australia? They live like in the boonies of, I don't know, Kochi
I don't
or
remember
something.
where they were
maybe?
from, but I remember seeing a foreign family on there once with like two little girls, and like the older sister was trying to help out the younger one.
Oh, I didn't
It was
see
really
that one.
cute too.
Yeah. Where were they from? Do you know?
Don't remember.
Oh, yeah, I saw. So it's always like nice and refreshing to see that too, because it's like, okay, great. You're like including all families that live in Japan and stuff.
Okay. So they include foreign people in the newlywed.
Yeah,
one as well.
yeah. Usually because I think the most foreign, for some foreign examples I've seen was like maybe a couple, both partners were from Taiwan and they were just like here working in Japan. Another couple, I think they were both Nepalese and they were like here just working and like living in Japan and stuff. And then sometimes you'll have like one partner who's Japanese and one partner who's not. And then majority is just like two Japanese people. But so usually the show is pretty tame. It's all about, like I said, how they met. It's very cute and wholesome.
Okay.
But there was one.
Oh. Okay.
There was one where an age is but a number until it gets weird.
Gosh. Okay.
And so there was one couple where they started, and there's an age gap between them. The wife is like in her mid-20s ish, and her husband is in his 40s at this point, and you're both adults. There's nothing wrong with that until you learn that how they met.
Oh, gosh.
I think you know where I'm going with this.
I have a feeling.
Yeah, you want to guess?
Did they meet when she was like 16 or something? Was he her teacher?
Yes!
I knew it.
Right on the nose. Yeah. Yeah. So he was her teacher. Yeah. So basically, you know, and I don't know like how much you write about like how you met and stuff when you're applying to be on the show. Like I don't know if the TV hosts were asking and kind of prodding because they knew and they wanted to get like interesting TV, or like they just asked an innocent question and then that couple was like, yeah, I was like a student, you know. I don't know how like it started with that. But yeah, so basically the girl was like, well, when I was in middle school or like when I was in high school or something. And then at that time, I think he was like, you know, a younger teacher. So he was in his like 20s, late 20s. And yeah, so that was like their first time meeting he was her teacher. And I don't know if they just have kept contact until she was like in high school, like for the whole time, or like he was her teacher for a couple years, moved on to a different school, and she became an adult, and they crossed paths in adulthood. I can't remember, but I think I'm gonna go with the former one because from that, all I remember was like just cringing and like being like uncomfortable the whole time, because I think they just continued talking like even when she was a student. So yeah, and I know this is a different conversation for a different time, but like the relationship and like closeness of teachers and students in Japan, like the culture around that is a lot different than the States for sure. Like home visits are a big thing in Japan, and especially in high school, it's like really typical to like have a really close relationship with your homeroom teacher in high school. Like from what she was describing, it sounded like whether it was against the rules or in secret or not, like her and her friends had a birthday party for the teacher. Like privately, it wasn't like at school or anything. They just like met up for dinner. And I don't know if that's just like normal and legal in Japan or what, but you know? And so like that was the only like really, really questionable example I saw. So yeah. Do you think this kind of show would be popular in the US now? I feel like only in the 70s or like 80s it would be. But like,
yeah, I feel like wasn't there a show called Newlyweds where they would like quiz the couple to see if they had the same answers?
Yeah, but that was just like to cause tension, I think. Like they just wanted to see couples fight, probably.
Yeah, I feel like most reality TV in the US is just to make people fight.
Oh yeah, like you are not the father. Like a lot of Jerry Springer, Mari.
There's not too many wholesome programs. A lot of it is
that's
like,
true, huh? We love drama. Like what do we think? Like Dr. Phil, pretty dramatic. Like
I can't think of anything wholesome off the top of my head.
No, maybe like these days now. Let's say the Kelly Clarkson show. I don't find her like super problematic in terms of like she's just a TV host that like interviews people.
She
just
does
like interviews
karaoke.
them. Oh yeah. Don't talk down on Kelly Clarkson.
We love it. No. I want to hear Kelly sing everything.
No, yeah, I think she just like sings with her guests, or like she just like kind of like this situation, like just
like
talks
an interview
to them.
Talk show thing.
Drew Barrymore, she gets a lot of like wishy-washy comments. Have you seen her talk show?
She's always so close to.
Yeah, like she just has
Tell
like,
me more.
dude, she's insane. Like, and like if you like body touch, like you know, like physical contact and stuff, then that's fine, you know.
I don't know if I could be. Not that she would ever have me as a guest on her show, but I don't like touch, so I'm like,
like don't touch, but also like it's very intimate, and I like some things they do. Like I think when what's his name, like MGK, like Megan Fox's ex-fiance or whatever, he was on there and they were just painting each other's nails and talking, and I was like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. Okay. That's cute. But like sometimes she's like on that couch with them, like grabbing their hands and stuff. I think who was it recently? Martha Stewart. Did you see that?
I haven't seen that.
Dude, like, Drew Barrymore was like just as always getting up in her face and was like, please tell me more. Like, what did you think about this? And like kind of grabbing her. And Martha Stewart's just like, get away.
Yeah, Martha Stewart does not seem like a touchy person.
Yeah. She like kind of in like a lighthearted, jokey way, she kind of like booped her head away, like no. Okay. And then Drew Barrymore also like comedically kind of like fell back, like sorry, I know, you know.
Okay, I might look that one up.
Yeah, but the marriage, you know, like welcome newlyweds in the US, I guess not, right? It would have to be like
I don't think
Welcome
it would
Divorcees
be popular.
or something. Or like what is, like you said, the what is it called? The game show, or how well do you know your spouse or something? Like how, I don't know, like what is the most annoying thing about your partner? I feel like are the questions they would ask versus the wholesome stuff. But yeah.
But it's not a TV show, but there is a TikTok account where this guy finds people in New York and he's like, hey, are you guys a couple? Like, could you tell me how you met? What do you love about the other person?
Yeah, I've seen that before.
That's cute and wholesome.
They're really,
but it's
really
not
wholesome.
on like network television.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like maybe a couple of these examples, when I ask could they work in the US, maybe not on TV, but
not on TV, but on
maybe
TikTok.
on TikTok or like YouTube. The more you think about it, probably.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like this next episode or this next show I'm going to briefly explain. Okay. Have you ever heard of, so the Japanese title is called Undo Shinke Warui Geijin, or Unathletic Comedians. Have you ever heard of this show? Okay, so I like the show because it kind of just reminds me of like why I used to watch like clips of Japanese TV on YouTube when I was in middle school, like just goofs and gaffs, like funny slapstick, like humor, like physical humor. Okay. But would you like to read the premise if you can? If my notes make sense today,
your notes.
These are my 1 a.m. notes.
Okay. So every year, comedians are recruited for this show for their terrible hand-eye coordination and overall inability to play sports. Each comedian goes through different challenges they have to clear, such as shooting a goal in soccer, making a basket, remembering a dance routine, etc. It's just really goofy and fun to watch. The comedians acknowledge that they're bad at sports and know they look silly. They give consent to be laughed at. Are the commentators sometimes harsh in their teasing? Sure, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, so
I must have seen clips of this somewhere.
You must have. I mean, I've included like a TikTok clip in here if you want to watch it now. Just include it. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to watch a TikTok real quick. So this is the premise. They're like, oh, he's bad at basketball, so do something.
Okay. So they kind of like exaggerate their unathleticness as well.
They know they're bad at sports, you know?
Okay.
Okay, anyway, that's a long example. Did I have one more? Oh, that's for a different show. Dang it. Anyway, so they're like,
I think I get it now.
Run, you know? Yeah. And so the show, anyway, we're back after watching the TikTok. But yeah, it's overall just funny. What category did I have this in? I put it like only in Japan. Is it just kind of like goofy to laugh at like, you know, comedians and how unathletic they are, and I don't know, it's just very silly.
Yeah.
Like
so pretty silly and innocent, but yeah. Sasuga Nihon.
Yeah, it's very like it has a lot of like sound effects that are added in there.
Yeah,
like
sound effects are really exaggerated too.
Yeah, when they're running and stuff, and it's just like sure it can come across as like mean or maybe lighthearted bullying out of context if you're like, haha, like you're bad at sports, but also like these, like I said, these comedians consent to like this show, like they know they're bad at sports, which is why they're like recruited to this show almost. And
yeah, I mean, and at least in the clip that we just watched, like the guy's definitely like playing it up.
Yeah, like, you know, the clip we watched, he was I think he just had to like go around someone and make a layup in basketball or like just shoot a basket or something, but he was there like
he did it like granny style.
Like granny style and stuff. And so they all kind of have their own like, because they're comedians at the end of the day, you know, like exactly. they know how to be funny.
Yep.
You know, and so I thought it was just like an only in Japan kind of category. Like who would think to have a show? Because it's not like a YouTube or like a TikTok segment that's super quick. This show's like an hour long every time they show it. Because there's like 20 comedians that they recruit. And so they put them in different challenges. Like, you know, you have to spike a volleyball or like you have to work in pairs to like pass the ball back to each other and shoot a goal. Like different things they have to clear. And then the rest of them are just like waiting on the sidelines, like laughing and like goofing and gaffing and stuff. But yeah, it's nothing crazy. But do you think this could work in the US, or could you see a version of this in the US? Why or why not?
I don't think so, because Japanese comedy is more physical and slapstick. So I don't think the humor would translate as well to an American audience. I mean, maybe like the Japanese version of it would be silly and goofy, but American, could you imagine like, I don't know, Pete Davidson doing
yeah. So that was like gonna be my next question.
Or, like Nikki Glaser doing this.
Dude, yeah. So like when you think of comedians who, like you said, Japanese comedy is very slapstick, very physical, but American humor is very just like telling a story and a lot of like the self-deprecation is there, a lot of the times, but yeah. So who did you say? Nikki Glaser?
Nikki Glaser.
Pete Davidson.
I don't know if she's athletic or not. I don't know.
Yeah, my candidate, I said Jack Black only because like he's got the physical aspect of it.
Yeah,
like,
maybe
who knows?
he could do it.
Yeah, like he could, like people like him, like the Jim Carreys, the Jack Blacks of it all, who are just good at like physical comedy. But I feel like it would be very scripted if it were like a US series. Like
True.
They would really play up even more how bad they were at the sport, or the opposite. I can't see a lot of like American celebrities or like comedians wanting to be laughed at.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of put this, maybe it wouldn't work so much. Oh, that'd be fun to see.
Yeah.
Or like,
I don't think it would work, but I mean, let us know your opinion.
Or like
if you think it would work or not.
Like a punked situation, you know? It's like we punked Justin Bieber into thinking he had to play basketball or something. Like, I don't know, just something, it just doesn't sound as fun.
Yeah.
But anyway. Right. Another one that I had. So we're moving into the cringe category. So this is my second to last category.
Okay.
So to get into the word of the day first, halfway through the episode, I had a word called azatoi. Have you ever heard of that word? Azatoi.
No.
So the title of this show is called Azatokute Nani ga warui no? So is it bad to be cunning? So azatoi means like kind of cunning or devious, according to the dictionary definition that I looked at.
Okay.
But I feel like in the context of the show, it's a little different.
Oh, okay.
So for this show, commentators watch different like role play situations, that are usually between young couples or people going on dates or coworkers and things like that. And these like scenarios are submitted by viewers, like maybe via X or like through their website or something. And so they take those scenarios and like, what do you call it? Like VR, like put them into a video format for the commentators to watch. What is VR called in English? Like
VR?
VR for us is virtual reality, but like when they see, like roll the tapes is like, they say like VR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like, what do you even call that? A reenactment. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they like reenact these like submissions.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Wait, what were you going to say?
So a few years ago, like I joined a modeling company in Osaka to be like a movie extra or something. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to say like anybody can be a model in Japan, like, no, you can't. But anybody could be a movie extra. Oh. If you're a foreigner with a pulse, you can be a movie extra.
What if you're like an Asian-looking foreigner with a pulse? Because I don't think
it depends on the film.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because for some of them, they'd be like, we want like a European atmosphere, so we need non-Asian foreigners. But anywho, there was one project they pitched to me, which was like being in one of these reenactment things.
Oh,
and I was like,
for this show?
I don't know if it was for this show.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Okay. Maybe it was called like something suika. I think it was like watermelon something. I forgot the name of the program. Okay. But basically like, it was reenacting some things. But one of the, like 3 situations. But one of them was like, how would a man react to finding his wife in bed with someone else?
Oh, God. Okay. I don't think it's this show, but that's a crazy reenactment. Okay.
So it was like a Japanese man, a French man, and like an American man.
Why are they like, I mean, okay.
I was not given the context of this before I agreed to it. They just said like, you're going to be in some kind of reenactment thing. So when I saw the script, like when I arrived, I was like, what the hell is this? And like, what do I have to do?
Yeah. Did you do it?
Yeah, but like I felt so uncomfortable about it. But basically, so the Japanese man, they said like if he found his wife in bed with someone else, they would exchange business cards.
Like a spectator said, like it's like, what do you think would happen? And people are submitting this? Like, what do you mean?
I think they were just trying to be funny.
Oh, I see. And like dunking on Japanese people and like how polite they are or something?
Yeah, and then for the French guy, it was like he would join them
Oh,
and have
because
a
like
threesome.
French people are like romantic
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Okay, so it's very like stereotypy kind of stuff. Okay.
So what do you think the American man would do?
Fight them, yell at them.
Yeah, pull a gun on them.
Oh, okay. I should have
Duh.
went there. Sorry, duh. I see. And your role was what, woman in bed?
To be the woman in the bed.
Can I watch this somewhere?
I don't know where it is. I didn't watch it when it came on TV because I was like, I don't know. But all I basically did was just like hide in the covers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
did you show your face and everything?
Yeah.
You had to be like, oh my god, or something.
Yeah, and then someone on Instagram messaged me and they were like, were you on TV today?
Ooh, that's insane. That's fun though. I mean, there's like more embarrassing roles or things you could have been a part. I think that's like it's all in good fun.
Okay.
Especially because like you weren't showing anything or right or were like was it like
no? I think I had
a
a tank top on, but because I have tattoos, I just held the sheet like.
Oh,
so you could basically just see my face.
I'm like really surprised they even like let you do that role with your tattoos. I mean,
well, they
like,
probably were not aware that I had tattoos.
That's so funny.
Because
You're just like
I was missing context, and I'm sure they were as well.
Yeah.
So they're like,
That's
okay,
their
just
fault
hide
then.
it with the blanket.
Well, that's good. That's a good workaround.
That's better for me.
Yeah. You're like neck deep or like the sheet is just like up to your neck. You're just like this floating head. And you're like, oh no. That's fun. That sounds like a fun like little project to do though. But yeah, very, very who made that? Like Japanese people?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, sure, at least they like dunked on their own people too. Like you would exchange a business card. Like that's funny if it's written by a Japanese person.
What a beta
simp. And then you just have the American dude like bow, 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 you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of nuts. They had like a fake gun and everything. You like film that scene and everything. Like who would he shoot? You?
I don't remember if there was a fake. There must have been a fake gun.
How many years ago was this, you said?
Like 3 or 4.
Oh, fun. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Introduce me to that agency. Anyway.
Okay, so that was a different program than the one that you're talking about. But similar with reenactments?
Similar with like in terms of just like reenacting different, scenarios. So I was trying to like find some like situations. So this was like an example that the show gave on their website. So to start, I think due to a lot of like cultural differences between like male and female relationships and like working relationships, a lot of these are like cringy and juvenile, I think, to us. But this was the example they gave. So we'll see if it's azatoi, cunning or devious or not.
Okay.
So one example they said was a female kouhai, or like junior, was inviting another kouhai to go drinking alone by saying, I don't want to go drinking with all of the coworkers. I feel kind of afraid if it's too many people. I maybe would go if there was like just a few people, kind of like hinting like, And then another guy who like heard that conversation, he was like, oh, I see. Then let's just like go together, you and I. So he kind of like inserted himself and was like, then we can go like just you and I.
Okay.
And then so that was like an example. And so after the commentators like watch that scene play out,
do they have to guess what's going to happen?
They have to guess kind of what's going to happen, but their main like, I guess, premise of the show is they each have like a little button. Like, have you seen those buttons at like Daiso where you ring it and it's like bing bong, like or whatever. So they have the button and it just shouts azatoi, like devious, like,
Okay.
And so they're like watching it and like seeing watch the scene play out, and as soon as they see something kind of like too flirtatious or too devious, they're like boom, 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 like slapping their button and everything, and you just hear like azatoi, azatoi, azatoi in the background. It's very like, I don't know, silly and Japanese. But would you view this as like azatoi, I guess, as a spectator, for like, maybe in this situation, for like a different guy to be like, then you and I should just go together, huh? Like that's kind of
Riz. No.
Yeah. So basically, the show is like about how much riz you have, kind of like. I was trying to think like how to translate azatoi in this context, and I was like flirty, but
I guess it depends on the situation.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you say he had some riz? Was it like good riz or like bad like?
I don't know.
I feel too old to be saying this word riz. Okay, so another example you and I can watch is, you just need to watch and cringe with me first, and then I'll explain like what it is. It kind of helps you like grasp the show, I feel like. Okay, so this situation, they have like a guest come on. I don't know if she's like an idol or something, but like, you know, when you get nikuman or meat buns or whatever from the konbini here, they're like wrapped in a paper.
Yeah.
And usually to not get your hands dirty and stuff, you just like eat it while it's in the paper. Yeah. And so the situation in this case is like, is it azatoi? Like, is it kind of like flirty to like eat with like the paper kind of covering your mouth and covering your face? And then like, so the way she ate it, she's like covering her mouth, she's eating it, and then she does the very like, oishi, like, ooh. And the male like commentators
he says erosugiru.
Yeah, and like, if you don't know, eroi is like erotic, like sexy. And he's like, that's too sexy. Like, stop. You got to stop eating it like that. Where she's just literally just covering her mouth. And like, you saw, like eating it in the paper. Mm-hmm. And I was like, ew, is that just like a nasty like man thing that like.
Yeah, why? I don't see how that's sexy. Am I missing?
Like, right. And so from our perspective, I'm like, what am I missing? Like, what is so like erotic or what is so like, ooh, flirty about that? But then the other girl commentator is also like, you're covering your face? Like, you're using that paper? No. Like, and she's like slamming her button down too. So I don't know if it's like a seduction with your eyes kind of thing. Like, because if you're like covering your mouth or covering your face, you have to like lock eyes with someone. And like to Japanese people,
was she staring at him while she ate it?
I can't even remember. I was so busy cringing. But like, I don't think she was like, with that case in particular, like locking eyes with him. I think she was just eating like normally and saying it was good, like it was yummy.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like, maybe this is not the show for me because I just wouldn't understand it. Yeah, like it definitely is like a cultural thing for sure. Yeah. Because like I'll watch this show sometimes because like my partner likes to watch this show, or we both like to watch it and cringe because he is Japanese. So like some of the examples he'll like be like, ooh, but then I'll be like, ew, you know, like that's just like normal. And he's like, you're right. Like what is like so wrong about this, you know? And so yeah, it's just like very like, what are we getting worked up about, basically? Like it's very like middle school. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like, so this last example I have maybe makes the most sense. Okay. So we're going to watch one more video about this azatoi thing. Okay. The context is you're out on a date with someone, maybe you're eating dessert and you have whipped cream on your face, like maybe on your lip or something. And so this one is like, it makes a little more sense to me because like, it's a little more universal, I guess.
Like more universal. It could go like different ways, right? And so it's kind of like they're looking for like the way you would react. Mm-hmm. Like, would you just wipe it off your face with a napkin? Like, how would you react to being told you had whipped cream on your face? Okay. So let's go ahead and get into that. Are we back?
Yes.
We're so back.
Camera died.
Sorry for that.
We're still watching the whipped cream. So is she drinking like a Vienna coffee? The coffee with the whipped cream on it?
Oh, no. That was a different example. I think they were like, is it azatoi to like use your hogan, like your dialect from your hometown? Or is it like cute? I don't know if they're using azatoi in like you're being like dubious. Flirtatious? Like you know what you're doing, kind of flirtatious. Mm-hmm. Like I think that's like the nuance of it all. Okay. But not that one. So here's the whipped cream example. Okay. So you see they're all pushing their buttons when she like licks it off her lip and stuff like that.
Okay, and I'm saying like, oh, it's so cute.
Yeah. And so she had whipped cream on her lip, and then the person is like,
it was like half of her mouth.
I know it was like all over her face, but so
and then she's like, oh, did I get it?
Where is it? Yeah. So they're kind of like, like you're kind of being a little like flirty. You know what you're doing because she's like, where, here? When it's like totally on the opposite side of her mouth. And
you might be able to feel that.
Yeah. And she's like, where, here? And then she like licks it off her lips, which like, that's normal, I think. You know, it's food. She like licks it off her lips and they're like, and then everyone was like, oh my God, like, whoa, like, you know what you're doing. Azatoi. And so anyway, so those are just a few examples. So for me, watching them as a 30-year-old grown woman who's not Japanese, all I think of is, why do we care about this? Like, why is this a show almost?
That's true, yeah.
Like,
I'm kind of wondering the same thing. Like,
yeah.
okay, that seems like a fairly normal situation.
Yeah, like, it's just interesting because, not to sound all, like, boomer and, like, our kids watch this and, like, this affects the minds of the youth, but, like, kind of, like, I could imagine being, like, in middle school and then thinking, like, overthinking this situation. Like, oh my God, now when someone tells, like, if a boy tells me I have whipped cream on my face, I, like, if I do X, Y, and Z, it's either really flirty, or if I don't do this, it's not flirty enough. Like, I can see it being like that. But then when you, like, grow up watching these kind of, like, mannerisms in these shows, like, no wonder, like, adults are weird, you know, like, and they're, like, looking at this and being like, oh, it's too flirty. Like, I don't know, it's just, it's weird. Like, I love to just hate on this show, like, hate watch the show, because it's just too, I don't know, over the top for nothing. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, it seems a little bit exaggerated.
Exaggerated, juvenile.
To me, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's just very, like, because these aren't like high schoolers commenting on it or anything. These are like grown adults. Like, they're all married, like the commentators, I'm pretty sure, too.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like, why do you care? Okay. Like, Yama-chan is the main host. He's the dude with tiny red glasses that hosted Terrace House.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, why do we care? Like, if, like, what this girl is doing or, like, how this guy is saying something is, like, too much riz or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm definitely not the target audience for this. So
yeah, that's the thing. Maybe I'm just not the target audience, but also, like, is there a target audience? Like, it just seems like very
I don't know.
Middle school-y. So my last question for this one is, would it work in like, is this an only in Japan category or cringe category, or like, does this work in the US too? You think?
No,
right?
I don't think so.
I don't know. You guys, well, we can, like, link the TikToks, right? In the YouTube, at least, the description, because you gotta, like, kind of watch to see what I'm, like, hating on, I feel like.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, I can put it on the screen, but for that one, I don't think we could play the sound because there was some kind of background music.
Oh, I see. That's okay.
But we can show the visual.
The visual?
The whipped cream visual.
It's very just, like...
I feel like if it were in the US, it would have to be a lot more extreme than just, like, getting some whipped cream on your mouth.
Something like that, because, like, because the... I wouldn't even call it, like, the level or whatever. All she did was, like, kind of innocently been like, where? And then, like, quickly, like, licked it up. Like, I feel like if we had a US version of this, it'd be like, is this, like, too flirty? Exhibit A. And then they're, like, eating whipped cream. And then she's like...
Oh, no, I spilled whipped cream all over my chest.
Yeah, or it's like, oh, you have, like, a little whipped cream here. And she's like, where? Like,
no, the other person licks it off.
Or they lick it off, or, like, the other person, like, licks their finger to, like, wipe it off their face. Yeah, that's cringy in that sense too. Also a little unsanitary, depending on, like, you know,
how well you know this person.
Yeah, but so in that, like, I feel like, if we did have this show, it would be the examples would be a lot more, I guess, extreme, or, like, more. Yeah, these examples I had, they're very, like, mild,
kind of,
almost.
Yeah. Innocent.
They're super innocent, but, like, the way they play it up is, like, so, ooh, like, what's gonna happen? Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, that was just my cringe example.
Okay.
But sorry, we talked a lot, but we have reached the end almost to my last to my last category. Yeah. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm scared.
So my last example I have, the final category is called Have We Learned Nothing? Is this the return of Nasubi?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So the show I will be talking about is called, in English, Kuro-chan... No, let me start. The show I will be talking about, the English name is called Kuro-chan's Real Game of Life, or in Japanese, Kuro-chan Riaru Jinsei Sugoroku. So Sugoroku is, like, a board game, or, like, game, yeah. And this is produced by TBS. Which, do we remember if like Denpa Shonen is from TBS, or were they, like, just a totally... Remember. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But yeah, this one is the juiciest one of all, because just when I thought, you know, I don't even know what to call that category, like, for Nasubi. Would you say observational reality TV? Like, when you're watching someone being filmed who doesn't know they're, like, being filmed,
like, psychological experiment.
Yeah, so, like, kind of just when I thought that psychological experiment, observational kind of reality TV was
voyeurism.
That's a big word for Elmo. Just when I thought it was over, I came across this TV show over the new year. And so basically, I'll just briefly explain it because my notes don't make sense for you to read. Okay. For who knows how long, maybe half a year or something, the producers of TBS have observed this comedian. His name is Kuro-chan. And they're just observing his life through different hidden cameras in his apartment, maybe at like restaurants he frequents and other facilities he goes to, like the gym and stuff like that.
Can I ask, is he aware of these?
Great question. No, he's not. But also, I could be wrong. I did ask my partner who's watching, like, does he know? And he's like, no. Like, even for the ones that are, like, because it's, like, posted up in the corner. It's a very discreet camera, and there's only one in his house. They're not at, like, different angles. Like, you know how Nasabi didn't know what he was being filmed for, but he knew he was being filmed? This one, it's, like, shot in a way, like, he just has no idea there's a camera in his house. It's just, like, somewhere hidden, like, kind of like you would see, like, that, but, like, more. So, yeah.
Okay.
And
questionable ethics.
Yeah, so whether it's like good editing where he knew and he just like pretended not to know, it kind of really gives off like he had no idea, especially like for the cameras that are hidden like in coffee shops and his gym and everything like that. So no, he does not know, apparently.
Okay.
And so this game of life, they've designed it to where like every day he's given discreetly, 6 options. And what I mean by that is, so depending on the number he chooses out of these 6 options determines how many spaces he'll move in his game of life. So the commentators are watching, like they have like this visual like board game basically in the studio, and each space has something different written on it. And by that, I mean like different events or different like chaotic things they're going to do to him.
Okay.
So depending on which space he lands on, that's just kind of his like next adventure they're going to put him through basically. Okay. So how he chooses these numbers discreetly, for example, they set it up where an acquaintance who knows that the show is going on, they suggest like, let's go to a coffee shop where the cameras are hidden and everything. They go to a coffee shop. They're like, here's the menu. And there's like 6 things on the menu. So 1 is like a coffee. 2 is like bread and a coffee, whatever. And so numbers 1 through 6. So like, let's say Kuro-chan ordered number 3, like a tea or something.
Okay.
Then they're like, oh, he picked 3. And so they'll move his little virtual game piece 3 spaces on his board. And that's just kind of like how it works each time.
Okay.
And so the examples of the different life events I had, it's kind of nasty. So, for example, he moves 3 spaces. So the space he lands on, it says like, interesting lady at the gym. And you're like, ooh.
Interesting lady.
Like, what could that mean? Do? Exactly. Like, what's she gonna do? What could that mean? And so the next scene or the next cut is like, he goes to his gym. He goes to personal training, and it's a fairly small gym. And when he's in there and he's doing his stretches with his personal trainer, again, hidden cameras everywhere, they hire an actress to be training, in close proximity on a different machine. And she's doing like squats, or she's doing like a chest press where she's laying on her back and she's like pushing up a bar. And as she's like doing her exercises, she's making very suggestive sounds. Like, when you grunt when you exercise, she's playing up the sound she's making. So it sounds very, suggestive. And so after a couple of times she does that, he kind of like peeps over and he's like, what's going on, And of course, all the commentators are laughing and everything because they want to see his reaction. That's what the show is all about. It's like, how will he react to these different scenarios? Okay. And so, she's like doing her thing and she's just like making all these noises. And then like afterwards, she's like, like kimochi, like, oh, it feels good. And like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, I gotta go. And like, leaves the gym. Because now they want to see like, what's he going to do now that she's out of this gym space? He's a man. So what do you think he's going to say or do? something
follow
nasty.
her? I don't know.
No, thankfully he doesn't follow her, but like he's there with his personal trainer.
What, does he go to the shower or something?
Oh, thank God. If he did, I don't know, but they didn't show that. So like while she's in there, he's kind of whispering to his trainer like, I can't concentrate. Like this is like, do you hear this? This is kind of like, what's going on, you know? And then she leaves, and then he whispers to his personal trainer like, oh my God, that was so hot. And like he just like says like nasty bro comments, and he's just like, I just like pictured her on top and stuff. Like he like gets like,
oh my gosh.
And they air this.
Is this late night television?
It's like, maybe 9 or 10 p.m. or something. I would hope late night, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he just says like, you know, I don't vouch for these kind of comments, but like things he thinks he's just saying like privately to his friend or his acquaintance. And so that's why I like feel like it's not scripted, because like you wouldn't say something like that and have it like if you know you're being filmed, you know?
True.
And so he's making just these like pretty gnarly comments to his trainer about like this girl and stuff. Another one of the like pranks or the adventure things they have, one of the spaces he landed on, it said like, we're gonna sneak into his house and like put a manga that he doesn't own like in his house and see how he reacts. Okay. So it's just like all very reaction based, right? And that one, he noticed, he's like, what? This isn't my book. And then you would think like he freaks out, like he thinks a burglar is in there and stuff. No, he just reads the manga. Okay. So that one was like, oh, okay. He's just like kind of dumb. Right. The last one that I wanted to say is so he has like he manages like this idol group too, I think, or he had these like kouhais or whatever. And he took them out to dinner at an izakaya. They like rented a private room. And again, hidden cameras everywhere. These girls don't know this is happening too. So they're also just like, there thinking they're guests. And so the space he landed on is like you get upcharged at a restaurant, and so they're like there eating and stuff, and he's there like, yeah, I'm your manager, I'll take care of you, I make so like I don't know why he did this on his own, but he's like bragging about how much money he has and like his income. And then the prank finally happens where the store or the restaurant staff comes in. He's like, okay, here's your check. And it's like $2,000, like super upcharged. And so he's there like, what? Like, what do you mean? And the girls are like, what's going on? And he like already bragged he has all this money. He already said he'd pay for them. And it's just like, as like an older dude with like 6 younger girls, like you can't, I don't know, he probably felt like pride, like he couldn't, you know? But in front of everyone, he's like, can you like not give me a discount, or like, can you not make this cheaper for me? Like, this is kind of too expensive. He's like trying to bargain the thing, which again, I feel like if you knew you were being filmed, you wouldn't say like something so cringy, especially after, you know, bragging how much money you had.
Yeah, true. Okay. Yeah. So it seems like this is unscripted. He's unaware.
Yeah. And so he's like, it's okay, girls, go home and stuff. But like, anyway, he's like trying to barter and stuff, and they're like, okay, fine, just give me like $1,500 or something. And he just pays it. And I don't know if he'll get that money back or not, but he just has to like pay it. And so like, that's what it is. It's just like seeing how he will react to different like stages in his life that are basically coordinated or manipulated by TBS.
Okay.
So kind of a nasabi situation-ish.
So how long has this been going on?
So the episode I watched, I caught it like part way, but when it ended, we didn't even finish the board game. It ended like halfway. So I don't know if they're going to show like the remaining episode the week after. But I assume to like coordinate all this stuff and like put the cameras, it's gotta take like, what do you think, like 3 months?
Yeah,
half a year or something. Like, not something that can be done soon. And I assume they're gonna bring him in at the very end and be like, longer, you know, like, so I don't know if it's still going on, which, well, no, that wouldn't make sense because he could see himself on TV, but like,
I assume it's all pre-filmed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it probably went on for at least like half a year, maybe a year.
Yeah, which is like, again, so not as crazy as the Nasabi story where he's naked, trapped in the same apartment every day with no food, but like also very invasive.
Less cruel, but still invasive. And
yeah, like I felt very weird watching this one because, which is like when you think about it, this is probably how people felt watching Nasubi, like a very complicated feeling where you're like, you just can't help but like look almost.
Yeah,
like, you know,
like
it's wrong.
It's interesting, but it's...
Yeah. But because it's nowhere near that same degree, it's like maybe why I could continue watching this like game of life with Kuro-chan. But yeah, because like you feel kind of bad for him because like, yeah, no one wants to pay $2,000 for nothing at a restaurant or like get put into like crazy situations. But also like him as, you kind of see him as like his honne, like him as a person saying these things like, you know, that he thinks aren't being filmed. And it's like, ooh, like you kind of like want him to be exposed almost because you're like, dude, like you can't say these things or like you can't do these things, you know? So it's a very like complicated feeling. Yeah, you haven't heard of this show at all? You should ask your partner too, see if he knows. But
he doesn't really watch TV though.
Ah, that's right. You mentioned that. Yeah. But do you think this kind of like this type of reality TV or like this game of life could work out in the US?
Well, I think people would be interested in it, but with laws and stuff, I don't think you could do it.
That's the thing.
People need to like consent to being filmed.
I need, again, and we talked about this in the Nasubi episodes, like, I don't know if there's just different laws about like filming in Japan or like if you're like, maybe contracts if you're through an agency. So he's a comedian. And so let's say in his office like contract or in his comedian contract it says like I am subject to being filmed without my knowledge for programs like through these agencies because I'm a comedian there. Like I don't know how it works at all. But yeah. So that's what I said too. I was like I don't think it could work in the US because of like consent issue. Like the way we view consent is a lot different here. And like, because what do you mean? The TV company can just enter your home and put a camera in there.
For several months.
Like, that's freaking nuts. And, like, I don't know, like, what he could be doing. Like, and let's say he's doing very private activities in there. Is there an editor that just has to, like, watch that? Like, you know, it's very... and edit it out. Like, it's very, just kind of gross. And I think, you know, public scrutiny and cancel culture and everything in the U.S. goes pretty hard, too. So I feel like if a celebrity is caught saying... I don't know, just like remarks like that offhand, they might suffer like a lot bigger consequences. Yeah. So it just sounds like a big lawsuit to me.
Yeah. It certainly does.
I don't know, but that's not to say, you know, that is a bad example. Japanese TV is very entertaining, but it's not to say everyone here is like very innocent and everyone is okay, you know? My last example, I'm not going to get into what the show is, but I was just like reading London Hearts is the name of the show. It's been on for a long time too. I just thought it was funny because during my research, it says... London Hearts has done it for the 6th year in a row. The TV Asahi variety show has been chosen yet again by parents nationwide as the TV program they are most unlikely to let their children watch.
Oh, hi. Yeah. I don't think I've heard of it. What do they do on this show?
I think it's similar to like this game of life thing. It's like variety and reality TV. So again, they put comedians through different like challenges and just film them without their consent or like, you know, film them going through different crazy things and stuff. And I feel like the language is pretty crude and all of that. Like London Hearts, quick example off the top of my head, they convinced this like guy who auditioned to be on the show, like he was going to be a model or like he was kind of like better looking than he actually was in person or whatever. So they like hired crews and actors to be like, oh my God, and like pretend this like modeling contract with him. And then so his like final debut, he would like come on the show and like run a runway as his like modeling debut. And like while he was doing that, they built it to where the runway would collapse into like a pit basically of like flour and stuff.
Of course.
Again, more falling, more like, you know. And so he thought he was like just going to be a famous person for like photography and whatever. So as he's walking, they just drop him into a pit. They're like, haha, no, you're actually like not that good looking. You're ugly.
Oh.
Yeah. And so like that is like the kind of show it is. It's very mean and it's very like prank based.
Okay.
Yeah. But and I understand why, if that's one of the examples why parents wouldn't let their children watch that show. Yeah. Like it's, yeah. But,
Okay.
yeah,
London Hearts, it sounds like a band name.
Yeah, it sounds very like a British band name or something. But yeah, London Hearts was like number 1, and then the one that followed right after was Crayon Shin-chan, that parents like were unlikely to let their children watch. I think Crayon Shin-chan also has a lot of like, I don't know, like random crude humor and like nudity in there too, even though it's a cartoon and stuff. But yeah. But anyway, I talked a lot about TV. That's kind of all the examples I had. They're all very extreme, especially the ones at the end. But let us know if you think that any of them could fly in other countries, or if there's similar examples in other countries, because I only talked about the US. But yeah, any last thoughts before I drop you into a pit of flour?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm just thinking about other TV things that I've seen. There's a lot of like TV segments. I don't know if they're all like shows in themselves, but there's just one segment I was thinking of, which was maybe closer to like the heartwarming innocent category, but it was like little kids with their pets, and then to see if their pet would save them if they got kidnapped.
Oh my god, what is that? No, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
That's cute. No. And what if you have like a turtle and you're like, would my turtle save me if I was
think it was mostly dogs.
Okay. Okay, good.
So how much does your dog love you?
What if the dog like is kind of not there though, and they're like, nah, like ha 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 ha, like chase a squirrel.
Yeah, well, sometimes I feel like half the time the dog just kind of like runs off and does their own thing, and the little kid is like, my dog doesn't love me.
Oh my god.
So maybe it's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah, I mean, when it's in those examples, yeah. Really sad. I don't know. Maybe I'll go look that up.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's called.
We could categorize it as like heartwarming cringe. Not cringe. Yeah. Heartwarming only in Japan, but yeah, that's so funny. Anyway, we'll see. But anyway, watch more TV because it is funny. When it's funny, it's funny. And when it's cringe, at least it's interesting to talk about. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening, watching. It's been a long time. I'm hungry. I could hear your stomach growling.
Bye.
Bye. We got cut off. That was our sign to say goodbye.